Hello everybody, welcome to Bead Pie. Right, this morning I'm going to show you how to do these little handbags. I've had quite a few requests, so all you need is some Delica, size 11 Delica, and if you haven't got Delica you can actually try this with seed beads, normal seed beads. It will work, it'll just come up slightly bigger. So let's just crack straight on. So I'm going to use several colours for this pattern. Now before I go ahead, you do not have to do the exact same pattern as me. There's lots of variations. This one is like little flowers, look. There's another one here, just stripes of colour. And this one, another one, stripes of colour. Or you can get really funky and maybe do some flowers. So you can play around with the peyote stitch and make your own design if you wish to, and depends on your level of skill as to how you can adapt it for yourself. So let's just crack on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. This is going to be odd count peyote stitch. So you're going to want to string initially 21 beads onto your needle. So you're going to have 2 gold at each end and everything else in between is going to be white. So actually we'll zoom back out a minute because you can't see any of that, can you? 1, 2 gold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, like so. So you have 21 on your needle, like so. And we just pull those all down to the stop bead. And if you know your peyote stitch, let's actually zoom out a tiny bit. I don't want to be too close and then, oops. Then I go out frame. If it's way too close, that's better. So yeah, if you're familiar with your peyote stitch, this is just going to be odd count peyote. So, and if you've never done odd count peyote, then follow along. So we're going to pick up a bead, skip that first bead, and go up this second one here. And then pull that tight, and it should, once you pull it tight, should sit like so. So you've got the 2 on the bottom and the 1 above it like that. And then we're just going to repeat that all the way down to the end. So it's just every other bead. So miss that, we're coming up with this gold one here. You want to miss that white one and go through this white one, like so. Tight, and it'll just pop into place, look. Miss this one, coming up here, miss the next one, and then go through the one after, like so. And just do that all the way to the end. Obviously, if you've done peyote stitch before, you don't need to follow this bit. Coming out here, so we miss that one and go into the following one. So skip the one next to it where I'm coming out of and up the next one. Keep going like that, and when you get to the top, I'm going to meet you back here at this white bead. Okay, so do that all the way to the end and I'll meet you back here. Alright, so if you've only ever done even count and you haven't done odd count peyote, I'll show you how to do it. The beginning row, this is how I do it. I mean, depends how you've been taught. If you know a different way, that's fine. But this is the way I do it, which is quite simple. So white bead up through that gold one to finish that row there. And now obviously you can't miss one and go through one because there's only one bead left. So what we're going to do is add a gold, run that down to there, and I'm going to take off my stop bead, like so, and then I'm going to take these two, and I'm just going to tie a knot. So that one sits on top like that. It's not sitting up the right way, hang on. She says it's easy, but there we go. Right, so you've got your two beads there, you want them to sit side by side. I'm getting tangled up now. Sorry guys, I'm getting tangled. It's alright, we keep it real here. We don't edit out tangles and knots and mistakes, because you're going to make those mistakes too. These things are going to happen, so there's no point editing it all out to make the video look all super perfect. Right, so that's what you're going to have, and then you're going to flip your work because you want to go back up these beads. You don't want to go out the one you're coming out of. You want to go up the other hole. So if you're coming up this one, go up here. So you're coming out ready to start your next row. Ignore this tail because we're going to weave that in later on. So that knot is just kind of like to hold it in place so that we can turn. And then I'll show you how to do there'll be a bead at this end for you, but there won't be one at this end. So I'll show you how to do the odd count peyote turn at this end, just in case you don't know. And obviously if you're familiar with that, you can steam ahead to the end of your row. So one gold, and then white all the way to the end bead, and I'll meet you back there. I want to say you're going through every other bead, don't forget, like so. So we're coming out with this white one, we're going to go up that sticky out bead, like so. So do that all the way to the top, and I'll meet you back here for the gold. Okay, so we're at the end. I'm going to pick up a gold. As you can see, space and a bead. So I'm going to miss one, jump one. There is a bead at this end for you to thread through. So I'm going to pop through there, pull tight, and flip my work. And I'm going to pick up a gold. So you would start with a gold, end with a gold. Just don't forget your gold. Start with the gold, end with the gold, yeah. So one gold, and then I'm going to continue working the peyote back up this way through every other bead, just like you did on the other row. And then this is going to be the uneven end. I'll meet you back at this end and show you what to do. So continue to the end of this row, and when you get to the gold bit, I'll be back. So once again, you're at the other end, and there is no bead. Can't miss one and go through one. So what we're going to do, that turn out the way, is going to pick up one bead, and then I'm coming up here, this bead here, and there's no bead to join, so I'm going to go inside this bead above the bead I'm coming out. So I'm coming out this one, go in the one above it, like so. And just pop that bead down, they're sitting side by side, like so. And you want to keep your work fairly tight because you need good tension for this project. And we're going to go down the one underneath. It's always fiddliest at the beginning, so don't worry, once you get there, it'll all start to come together. So we're now going to go down through this next bead. Careful not to catch your thread in there. It's so hard to do on film because I'm so far away from my work in order to be in front of the camera. Right, down that next bead there. Just nice and tight, give it a tug. Right, so we're coming out of this one, and we're going to go up the one beside it, and this is what we're going to do every time we get to that odd end. That's how we add a bead on the end of the odd count peyote. So now I've gone up that one beside it, and I'm going to go at an angle over to this one, coming up here, go up through there. I haven't gone through the bead, no. Up through that bead. And that will bring you back up next to the one you've added. And you go back down that one you've added. Back down through that one. And then you can flip your work. And then you're ready to go. Good to go on the next row, see? So that's what you're going to do each time. So essentially you're just adding a bead, coming down here, jumping across, back up, jumping across and down. So you're just looping it round so that you can add that bead on, being as it's uneven peyote. So I'm going to add a gold. Always start with the gold, always end with the gold. If you don't want to do a pattern on yours, you can just do it plain. You can just do a trim of gold and do the whole thing white, or whatever colour you've got, or you can do the pattern that I'm going to do here. So I'm going to do one more row of white, and I'll be ending at my even end. So meet me when you get to this end. Now on this end, we do have a bead. So on this one, go through one, add your gold. So we always end with the gold and begin with the gold. Flip the work, add a gold. Like so. And this time, I'm going to add a row of colour. So it's nice and bright for the purposes of the video. We're going to do red. So I'm going to start with a white, one white, red, one white, oops, careful not to do this, tangle your thread, and oh, I didn't, I thought I tangled it. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I can see it now, there we go, look. It's looped. Definitely don't do that, because then your beads aren't going to sit right. There we go. One red, one white, oops, what am I doing? Silly me, one red, one red, one white, and again no bead to go through, so I'll show you that turn again. Right, so we're coming up with this bead here, and you want to pick up your gold and go down this bead here. So I'm going to go down that one. If I can go through two, I will, and then go through that gold one below it as well. If you can't, don't worry, just go through one and then go through the other one on the angle. So like that, down that one and that one. Make sure that bead sits nicely. Pop it over like that. Then we're going up this one. Up this one, and like I say, if you have another method that someone's already taught you and you know how to count peyote, you know, by all means go ahead and do it your own way. There are more than one method. These beading techniques have been around for thousands of years, so I'm sure there's lots of techniques. Right, that's the odd turn. So this time we're going to add a gold. There. And then it's going to be red all the way up. So go ahead, pick up a red, and another red, and do that all the way to the end of your row, and do try and keep your work nice and tight. So red all the way to the end, obviously apart from your gold, and you will be able to turn on that end. Meet me back at the end. Okay, so we're back. I'm going to turn the corner, or at the end, one last gold, and start with the gold. Okay, right, so we're just making the flower here. This time it's going to be one white, one red, one white. Pick these nice bold colours so it will hopefully show up really well on the video. And one red, do that all the way down to the end, and I'll meet you back at the end. Right, back to the gold and at the uneven end. So we're coming out of here, I want to come up and go through here, and if you can, down at an angle through that other one there. If not, just do them one at a time, and pull, and pop that down into place, like so. Then we're going to go back up the one beside the one we're coming out of here. And then up the one at an angle above, at an angle. And then back down through this gold that we added, like so. And then I'm going to do a row of white. So we've got a whole row of white. Oh, don't forget the gold. Start with gold, end with the gold. Oops. There we go. And just do a whole row of white. Meet me back at the other end. Okay, so I've added my gold, turned my work. Done my row of white, added my gold, turned my work. Now it's just a row of green all the way up. And that basically is your pattern. So you do your rows of white, your red, another white, and then a row of green, and then it's back to doing this little block of white. So that is the entire pattern, and you're just going to repeat that all the way until you get to 30 beads on each side. And what you want is you want to have 30, you want one on each edge, so you want to end up where you've got one here and one here on the outer edge. You don't want the gap like this, so you want one on each end when you get to your 30. It should be about, what, 5 centimeters? Yeah, it should be 5 centimeters, depending on the size of your beads and the tightness of your work. If you're using ordinary seed beads, that's going to be a bit bigger. But if you're using Delicas, it will be 5 centimeters. And once you get to 5 centimeters, or even just slightly before, count the beads on your edges, on the outer edge. You want 30 on each outer edge. And you want to make sure that you do have a bead on each outer edge. So keep going like so, all the way. And yeah, as far as giveaways go, I'm going to do a Christmas giveaway. Probably going to be one of these bags and maybe some other bits, I'm not sure yet. I mean, I've got so much stuff that I've made, literally hordes of it, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, key charms, you name it, I've got it. So everything basically that's on my channel, it could be anything that I have made. So look out for that. There's going to be a December Christmas giveaway. I'm definitely going to put some of these little handbags in there. Like we're doing our uneven turn now, look, down the one beside it. So yeah, keep your eyes open for that. And I'm 700 and something subscribers now, so when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start doing a once monthly giveaway and go live and do those giveaways. And during those lives, at which time anyone who wants any, you know, little online tips, advice, questions you want to ask about any of the tutorials or any of the, you know, anything else on my channel, you can, at that point we can interact with each other and yeah, chat to each other on the live. I can give you any tips and advice or any questions you might have, we can address those there, and then do the winner of the giveaways also live. So once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a monthly giveaway. So do go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and keep your eyes open for the giveaways. There'll definitely be one for December, like I say, Christmas giveaway anyway, regardless. But once I reach 1,000 subs, I'll start doing a monthly live giveaway. Right, so that is your pattern. So you're going to carry on now with your white. So you've got 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of white, then do the flowers. If you can't remember, just skip back and re-watch the section and just keep repeating that. And you're going to repeat that until you reach 30 on each edge. So it's going to be about this big, minus this piece here. Yeah, so you'll have, it'll look like that. And you'll have one on each outer edge. Make sure you've got one on each outer edge. Like so, you've got to have one there, and you've got to have one at this end. So you'll come back, add your bead, and then stop there, so you've got one on each end. And that'll be 30, and make sure you've got 30 on each side. So when you get just before your 5 centimeter mark, count, make sure, because you don't want to do too many and have to undo it. That's going to be a real nightmare. So do keep a count as you go and make sure you've got 30 each side, and come back when you've done that. And abracadabra, like magic, we are back. So I've reached my 30 on each side, and I actually at this point need to put a new thread on because I'm running out of thread. May well happen to you, so I'm going to quickly do that now. And also this is how you will weave your loose ends in, like, you know, the ends you're not going to use, you'll weave them in and then cut them off. So I'm going to weave this in, and then I'm going to do the same sort of thing in order to add some thread. So coming up this one, I'm going to go down that one at an angle, and basically all we're going to do here is follow the thread path and just weave this in a little way so that we don't cut a tail end off where we've been working. Get it as far away as possible. I should have changed thread a little while ago, it's not very long, but I'm just going to keep going down like that at an angle. So I'm following my thread path. You see where I'm going there? Coming out of that white one there. It's going to go down the green. And then I'm going to jump across to the red and change direction. And some people tie knots as they go. I don't think it's necessary with peyote because of the way it's woven. That's never coming out, so it's not going to happen. It'd be absolutely fine just to keep weaving like that, and then up at an angle. And you can do it for as much as you feel that your thread is secure. So I'm going to keep weaving. I'll probably go down one more time and then cut the thread off here. And then do exactly the same thing to add thread. Only start here, keep going up, follow your thread path, and make sure you come out with this bead here so you're ready to start your work. So I'm just going to weave down a few more bits, cut it off, and I'll come back to you when I've rethreaded and I'm on there. Okay, turned my work and I'm coming out here. So I've got 30 on each end, and that's 5 centimeters. End to end, yeah, 5 centimeters. So this is the bit where we start decreasing, reducing, whatever, and make that little pointy bit for the top of the purse. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 gold. And yeah, you want to continue in your pattern. So whether you're doing stripes, whether you're doing the same pattern as me, I think I might have not left the same gap between here and here. So you may not be on the same row as me regarding your pattern. So whatever row of your pattern you're on, stick with that, and you just add the beads as your pattern would be, you know. So I might be on a wrong row or a different row to you, because I think one of these might be out here. This one looks different than all the others. I think I've added 1 less bead to this white row. So we're going to be a row different in our colour. So whatever colour of the row you're on, go ahead and add that. Keep going until you reach the other end. And I'll meet you back here. When you get to the end, you're going to take your gold bead and you're going to thread it up through this end here. Like so. I'm going to go down through this bead here. And then I will, yeah, and then go down this bead here, and then I'm going to go across to here, like so. Then up at an angle through the gold bead, and then I'm going to jump across and come down the gold bead here that I added, like so. Then I'm going to turn my work, add a gold, and that's going to bring it in one bead from the edge, like so. And then I'll go into my next row of colour. So whichever row you're on, you're not probably going to be on the same row as me because I've messed up, and you may have done the same thing and not quite done your rows even. So whichever row of your pattern, follow that. So, and also a tip for you here is when you're pulling your thread through, my instinct is always to pull the thread through and then pull this way back towards myself, like when you're sewing, but then you're pulling, you see, away from your work. So when you go through, when you're doing peyote stitch, you always want to tighten up by pulling in front of your work in the direction you're going. Otherwise you're going to be pulling gaps in your work as opposed to tightening it up. So you want your work to be nice and tight for this project, so I'm pulling that way, like so. And yeah, pulling forwards. So whichever row of pattern you're on, you're likely not on this same row as me. Just keep going in that pattern until you get to the end. I'm going to stay with you for a minute and do this. I'm going to keep flicking it on, off, on, off, on, off. So get to the other end of whatever colour you're on. Oh, is it white? Yeah, it is. Too busy chattering. And a red. And then, oops, I'm tangled on my scissors. And then when we get to this end, we add our gold in here, like so. See how we're bringing that edge line in, and then I'm going to go down the one beside the one I just went up. If I can see what I'm doing, down beside that one, the one beside, yeah. Then I'm going to go down at an angle through this one here. I'm going to jump across to this one. And go up that one. And then I'm going to jump across here, go through these two. As long as you're following the path, the beaded path as they say, you won't have any thread showing and you'll be alright. So as long as you're coming out of that one here and you've followed that beaded path around to get to it, that's what you want to achieve. So next row, pick up my gold, and as you see, it's bringing that line further in. So the gold's now edging its way towards the middle, like so. So you need to continue in whatever your pattern is. I'm obviously on a row of red, but what colour row you're on, it's, oops, see, not listening to my own golden rules then, pulling the thread the wrong way, as is my instinct to pull towards myself. So keep going in whatever colour, and I'll meet you when you get to the end and show you how to do the turnaround and come back again. Okay, so we're back at the end. So I'm going to pick up my gold, go through this one here, I'm going to jump across to the white one, like so. One beside it, whatever colour yours may be, it might not be white, so the bead beside the one you were coming out of, and then go down at an angle. Like so. So we're coming out of here, And then I'm going to go down one more. Am I? Yep. Go down one more, like so. And then I'm going to jump across to the bead beside the one I'm coming out of, like so. And then I'm going to go up at an angle. Like so. And then I'm going to wind out, going in the one beside it. Wind out, wind up, end up, whatever. Let's go off to another planet on a bead. Right, there you go, you're coming out there. I do find it very therapeutic and relaxing. I go into like bead zone. So then you're going to add another gold at the other end, and you're just going to keep repeating that process. Oops, I've got to add, yeah, gold first. The gold at each end, and see how that's taking your edge line in further and further, and just keep doing that process, following whichever row of pattern you are on, colour wise. And just keep doing that turnaround, making sure you come back out here when you get to the other end, add your gold, do the same, and it'll work its way in and in and in and in till you've got one bead left, and add that one last gold bead, and I will meet you back there. If you're unsure, just go back and re-watch how to go around and go back in and come out this where you want to be coming out. Well, you want to be coming out here each time, the gold. Right, well, you should also be almost there, so continuing in your pattern, one gold for me, well, it's going to be gold for everybody, and then whatever colour for your pattern. Just thought I'd do this row with you so I can do one more turn with you. So up this one. That one. Across, up, down through the one beside it. White one, isn't it? Down through at an angle below. If you can get two beads, fabulous. If you can't, just through one and then the next. One's gone through both. So I've gone through another two beads down that way, then up through the one beside that, beside the one you're coming out of, I should say. And then up at an angle, like so. And then jump across, down the one beside it. So, and flip your work, and then add a gold, add another gold, and the same again, jump across to the bead beside the one you're coming out of, like so. Down at an angle, and if it goes through two, fabulous, yep, gone through two. If not, just do one at a time, it's absolutely fine. Then up the one beside the one you're coming out of, like so. Again, up at an angle to the one you're coming out here, up at an angle, like so. And across, down the one beside it, which is your edge, and that should leave you needing one gold bead, irregardless of what your pattern is. You can just go all the way through these. Actually, no, you can't. I'm going to do that. I'm going to come up there. I'm going to turn around and come back out of this bead here so that I've got a thread here ready for my clasping actually. So I'm going to come down, go down the one beside the one you're coming out of, and the one below it at an angle if it will go. If not, do them one at a time. And I'm going to come down through another one more at an angle, and then the one beside it, and up at an angle, one beside, stop one above where you want to be coming out, so go through both of them, and that's it. There we go. So that is the main piece of your bag, purse, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to leave a thread on here, so once we do the, once it's like this, I've got this thread here ready to add my little clasp, and my needles, my thread's already attached. So what we need to do next is the sides, these pieces. Do these side pieces. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then how to join it together. And then we'll do the clasp, and then that's basically it. So, right, when you're ready and you're at your point, you come out, take your needle off of your thread, but leave your end, and this thread, yeah, this end you can thread in and cut off, so you only should have one thread, which is the one coming out of the tip of your purse. So when you've, sorry, my brain's not thinking straight, I'm so tired. So yeah, that's all you need to do, and I'll come back when we're ready to do the sides. So the sides I'm going to do in my main colour of my bag, which is white. So you're going to need your white, and then we'll start from there. I'm just going to have a quick tea break, and I'll be back with you. Right, we're back. The lighting's going to be a bit weird because I've had to put the light on. It's a bit dull in here. It's gone very grey. So right, what I've done is I've marked the 10th bead in. So count 10 beads in, make a little marker, and then take a fresh needle and thread. You don't need it to be too long, because we're just doing this little side piece here for joining the bag. And you want to add some thread in the manner we've done before for finishing off, adding thread, and make sure you're coming out at this 10th bead. So you can leave a marker there if you need to, weave through, or just, hold your finger where you know you're going to come out. I think it's best to put some sort of marker, or leave a piece of thread hanging or something so you know which bead, and then work your loose end in and up and come out this bead here. Meet me when you are coming out of there. Okay? Right, see you in a minute. Okay, so once you're coming out of this 10th bead here and you've added your new piece of thread and woven around and whatnot and come out on your 10th bead, whatever colour the sides of your handbag is going to be, you need to pick up one of that colour, and then we're going to go down the tops of the beads through that way. Okay, so not the one you're coming out of, sorry. Go down the one beside it, like that. Okay, then back up the one you were originally in. And then back through that one there. And you're going to pick up a second bead. Go down the next one. And go back to the one behind it. through, and then through that bead. And you can do that until you've got 7 beads along. So do one more down that next one. Back up the one before it. And then through this bead until you've got 7 sitting in a row. Okay, and then come back. When you've done your 7, it should look like that. Excuse me, and we need 2 more rows of 7. So I'm going to pick up one of your beads, and this time I'm going to go back through these beads. So it sits directly on top, like so. And go back through like that. And then take a second one. I'm going to go through here. And this first one I'm going to go through both, like so. Just to make sure it's nice and snug there on the end. And then keep going like that. And do this until you get to the end and you've got 7 sitting directly on top of the, so you're going to go up now through this one and so on all the way to the end, and then do what you did here, come up and then do a third row. So 1, 2, 3 rows of 7. Come back to me when you've got to the third row of 7. And if you're not sure, just go back, rewind and watch that again if you're not sure. I just don't want to make the video too long, or it'll be like over an hour and take forever to load. Okay, so I'm back. Now on the last bead, so it's the same thing, but instead of coming up the first one, I'm going to go down through 2. Like so. Make sure that bead pops into place and sits where it's meant to. And this time, we want to come up through here instead of through the end. So we're going to come up through this bead. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and end here and turn. So we're going to be doing the same thing, but just I'm going to flip it over. It's easier to film like that. So I'm going to go through, add this bead, go through here, just the one, and pull. Just make sure that sits right like that, like so, and then back up through here. Like so. We can straighten this one up later on, don't worry. Get that bit. Right, then the second one. Just going to carry on in exactly the same way, but this time doing a row of 5. Instead of 7. So I have to reinforce that later on. I'm sure we can end up going through it when we wiggle, because we'll end up going back down. So So hopefully that one will go through and reinforce on the way back. And then up and across. Like so. That way until you've got 5. So this is number 5, and I believe, let me just check, we've got 2 rows of 5. So when you've done your row of 5, like so, come back out at your edge, and then turn around and do another row of 5 directly on top in the same way you did the 7s. So do that, and then yeah, after you've got 2 rows of 5, I'm going to step up again. So get to your end of your second row of 5 and I'll join you back here. Okay, so we're going to add the last bead on this row, and we're going to go down 2 because we're stepping up again to make it smaller on the top. So then this time we're going to come up through this one instead of the end, and we're going to do exactly the same as what we've just done. I'm going to flip it around and do 2 rows of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Another row of 3. Right, then do another row of 3, and then it's going to be 2 lots of 1 using the same method. I'll come back to you when I get there. Okay, and I'm going to add the 3rd bead. It's my second row of 3, and instead of going in 1, I'm going in 2. Like so. Just pop that into place and tighten it. You do want to keep your work nice and tight, because this is going to be a solid object at the end, obviously. So then we're going to come up, go through the middle one, so yeah, up through this middle one. Oops. Like so, and then this time we're just adding 1 bead. So in through there. Oops, wiggle it in, like so. And then we're going to go back through there and up, and then we're going to add 1 more. Oh, I've got 2 on the needle. Good job I saw that. Right, 1 more. That's going to sit on top, like so. It looks a bit like a wedding cake, look. And now I'm just going to work my way down to the bottom by weaving all the way through all the beads. So I'm going to have to go down that way. So that way, Should we jump down the right way, or I might have thread showing down that way? Get it through all of them down there, like so, and then down through that one. All the way through these if you can. That's it. If you can get through them all in one go, just makes life a lot easier. And then out here. Right, so that is one side done. Like so. Don't worry if it's not absolutely perfect, because that's going to be stitched up to this. So that's going to be the side of your handbag. It'll be a bit neater than that when it's stitched, I hope. So go ahead and do exactly that process on the other side, leaving your tail, because we're going to use this thread to stitch this up when we're coming out here. So don't take your needle off, but leave the thread on, and go ahead and do the same on this side. Work it exactly the same, go to your 10th bead, come out there, and then work it that way, obviously, till you put exactly the same. And then I'll be back when I've done my next little wedding cake, as I call it. Kind of looks like a wedding cake, that shape, you know. So yeah, see you when you get to the other side. Okay, so we're back. I've come back down to the bottom. I'm actually going to go down this next one here. So coming out the second from bottom. And we want it to sit like so. So I'm going to go through the second thread bridge. If I can get it to go in there, damn thing. That's it, it's gone in. There we go. In through there, and that's going to pull in like that. And then go up the next one. Next thread bridge. It's a bit fiddly, but it's up to my nice and tight there. Really is quite tight. Let's get under that thread. Goodness me. That's it. Under the thread. And then back up that next one. You're going to go through all the beads. That's it, like so. It's a bit fiddly, but you get the idea. Right, and then that's going to pop up like that, you see? And zip together. Excuse me. And then I'm going to come out and go through that second one there. Just under your threads, like that, through the thread bridge and not through the beads. And just start zipping it up. Then up through the next thread bridge. I was under there, wasn't I? Silly me. I've got to hold it so far away from myself that it's really hard to see what I'm doing there. Right, then up through the next one. Like so. Start letting it come together as well now. And then through your next row. Because you don't have to be pulling too hard at the end. we pull it in a little bit, just start easing it all into place, like so. Just sit like that. And then up through that next thread bridge. In this one, no, that one, that's the next one. And through that next one. And then up through that next one. Through the thread, right there. And up through the next set of beads. And we're going to pull tight when we get to the end, but don't want to be pulling too hard at the end, so I'm keeping it reasonably close together. And then up through the next thread bridge. It's fiddly, but almost there. And then up through that next thread bridge. If it doesn't sit where you want it, you can always undo it and make it sit, you know, where you want it to be. Up through the next one. And through these beads. And through that next one there. Once you get going, like I say, mine's a little tight, but you want it to be tight because it's going to be solid. You know, a little 3D object. You want it to be fairly tight. And you works always neat to when it's nice and tight. Coming up that one, in that one. In through the top bead, and then through that last thread bridge, she said. Let's get it under there, that's it. Ow, I've gone through my skin. There we go, and then we pull it tight, pop it all into place like that, so it sits right. There you go, and voila, that's it there, like so. And then go ahead and do the other side, and when you've done the other side, you can tie off, work your end in and tie it off, then do the other side, and then we'll do the handle and the clasp. So attach this side in exactly the same way as that, get it stitched together, and I'll meet you when you've done the other side. And then we'll put the handle on and put the clasp. Right, happy beading. Okay, so we're back, got our little bag almost finished. So we're going to do the handle. So we're coming out with the little white bead at the top here. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, let's see, 3, 4, 5 gold. You don't have to do this particular handle, you can do any kind of handle you want to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or should I do the whole thing gold? I think I'll do the whole thing gold actually. Let's do it all in gold. What should we do? Oh, no, we do one red, and then the rest, because that's what we're going to do the join. Yeah, I'll do that, and then do the rest in gold. I'm not sure how many I did on this one. Let's just have a little see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'll make at least that. So yeah, we need a few more. Let's try another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's that gonna sit? That's gonna sit. Still we need more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depends how long you want your handle to be. There's no rule of how many to add here. Just keep going till, obviously it's got to match up with the other side. And I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Plenty long enough. So right then, except I've got to add my gold, my red. 1, 2, 3, 5. So we'll take off 5. And add that gold, that red. I'm going to add in the red. So let's take off 5. Sorry guys, making it up as I go along here, of course, as usual. Take a red and add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go down the other side, come through here, like so. I'm going to add 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could use 15 O's for this if you think they'll look nicer. And then go all the way back up. This is going to reinforce your handle as well, so make it nice and strong. And give you a little sort of a V there. Maybe I've made this handle a bit too long. You can vary obviously the length of your handle, what bead you use for your handle, what colour you have your handle. There is no strict rules here. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just about being creative and having some fun. That's what it is for me anyway. So, as they say, creativity is not a competition. So I'm going to go back in through there. And now you've got your handle. I'm going to go back up. Coming up there, I'm going back up through it again just to reinforce. And what I'll do is tie some knots along the way. So you want it nice and tight, so get everything pulled tight now. And I'll put a little knot here along the way. And go up through my handle. So then you've gone through it 3 times, which will make it pretty strong. I'm using 6-pound fire line, so it's strong stuff. Oh, and I've got 12, size 12. Actually, I'm on size 10 now, but I was using a size 12 for the peyote stitch. Size 12 needle. Just to get through all those beads, the amount of times you have to get through. Oh no, I've tied it. Got it in the wrong place. Don't do that, definitely. Anyway, go through, all the way through, reinforce your handle, tie a few knots, cut your thread off, and then all we've got to do is the clasp. I'm just going to undo that knot and go back through, tie a few off and get rid of that tail, and then meet you back here, and you still should have this thread attached here for your clasp. Okay, so we're back. I'm just going to thread my needle with that loose thread that's coming out of the tip of the handbag that we left. This bit here. Got our handle on, which is looking very nice. Alright, yeah, all attached nicely there. So you should have all that done by now. And we're going to take some 15 seed beads. Sorry, I should have said at the beginning that you need some for the handle. I mean for the clasp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're just going to take this piece here and go round in a circle like so. Reinforce that. Then you could make a fake little one and stitch it together and have it with stuffing like that first one that I did. But after I made it, everyone I showed it to, the first thing they said was, "Does it open?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "Oh." So yeah, that one, which has got stuffing in, and I've stitched it so you would come out of here and then go through these in a circle, or in your beaded pattern, and then back up through here and do that, just so you're stitching it down if you wanted to fill it with stuffing, for instance. So yeah, and so much for doing both the handbags in the one tutorial, because this has taken a long time. So if anyone wants to do the other style, I'll do another tutorial on just how to do the sides, obviously, because they're complete different stitch, and how you would end your top or whatever. So I can do a little one on that. So just go around a couple of times, tie some knots, reinforce, and then meet me back here, because I'm going to go around a couple of times. Once that's done, you're going to weave some thread, like if you're adding thread, and you want to come out in the bead that sits underneath where your, so mine's going to be right here, look. So I want mine to come out right here. So add some thread and make sure you come out underneath where your little bit is. I'm just going to add my thread, and so I've added my thread and I'm coming out here. I think that should be good for me. And then I'm going to take a 3mm pearl, or you could use a size 8 or a size 6 seed bead maybe, I don't know. Or just a tiny bead. I think a 3mm pearl or 3mm bead of any kind is perfect. But if you don't have one and you've got something else, then, you know, go ahead and use that. And then just go back through the bead you're coming out of, like that. Basically, that is it. So it sits like that. And then go back through that bead a couple of times to reinforce. And then that'll pop over there, and that will be your clasp. And that should just sit nicely, like so. So go ahead and reinforce that. And then when you're finished, you should have your completed handbag. Should look like that. I think I could have done the sides a little bit neater. They do look a bit, well, they look alright, don't they? That's the back. And the other side, a little bit wonky, but yeah. It's the other side and the front, and then your handle. And then you can put what you want in it. You can put a little wish, a prayer, I don't know, a gift, something little. I've of course got something beaded in mine. If I can get him out. One of my little beaded dollies, just fits. So I might do that as an idea for if we can get them, get them in and out. There we go. As a stocking stuffer, a little bag, little purse with a beaded dolly inside. Maybe it would go in a better that way. Be easier to pull out. Yeah, then you can grab a leg. So yeah, put a little dolly, beaded dolly in there, or you could probably fit I don't know what you could fit in there, but if you don't want to put something inside it, I'm going to do them as stocking stuffers. So I thought, yeah, a little beaded dolly, key charm or whatever inside. You could always just stuff it with some K-pop or whatever, some nylon stuffing. So it's got that full look, 'cause you don't want it to look flat, but yeah. Okay, that's it, all done. Yeah, I'll do another video for how you do the sides of the other handbag. Obviously the body's the same, you just don't do the pointy bit. You would end it like along here for the top. So I haven't got time right now, and plus this video's already too long as it is. But that's as short as I could make it. So yeah, that is your handbag. And keep your eyes open, because I'm going to be telling you the details of my Christmas giveaway and how it's going to work with the other giveaways really soon. So I hope you enjoyed it, and for those of you who did request it, there you go, finally the handbag tutorial. Have a great evening, everybody. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Sorry, I was so busy chattering away while I was beading and finishing that off, I didn't say that I put, after I'd put the 3mm pearl, I put a 15-0 seed bead and then ran my needle back through the 3mm pearl. Obviously that 15-0 seed bead is holding it in place. So I didn't say that, I just carried on beading without telling you what I was doing. So yeah, I picked up the pearl and then the seed bead, the 15-0, and then went back through the pearl. As you saw, I just didn't mention that I'd picked up that 15-0, so I thought I'd better tell you, so you know what I did there for the clasp. There you go, all done, all finished. Those are the handbags. Now I've just got to finish this one. I've got one there, I've got the stripy one there. There's another one somewhere. Oh, there is another one there. So they're all just ready to put together as bags. And I'm going to give some of these away in the Christmas giveaway. So keep your eyes open for that. And there'll be other stuff as well in the giveaway. So have a great evening. Thanks for watching. I hope everything's clear. Sorry if I've not been clear, but you can let me know in the comments and I can clear that up for you. Okay, have a great evening. Thanks a lot. Bye.